So much to discuss, including soccer? Am I going to be timed out on my own show? Let go!
Live from the BiffNet Studios World Headquarters in Spring, Texas, it's Barry on Deck, hosted by former ESPN Houston radio host and stand-up comedian Barry Laminack, starring Oliver the Cat. Written by Barry Laminack, produced by Barry Laminack, directed by, you guessed it, Barry Laminack, featuring sports, entertainment, special guests, film sessions, and some drinking. Okay, a lot of drinking. Viewer discretion is advised. And now, here's your host, Barry Laminack.
What's up, you damn dirty deckheads? Welcome to Barry on Deck. I am your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for being here. Today is Monday, March 29th, 2021, and this is episode number 220 of Barry on Deck. And when last we talked, I was a little drunk. Welcome to the program. Thank you guys for joining me on a Monday. You guys, I gotta apologize for Friday's show. My intention was not to get that shit-faced drunk on air. I have got to be more professional, and by God, I almost broke my desk. I'm going to be more professional. I mean, we'll still drink. We're still going to drink on the show, but I'm not. I have made a commitment to myself. Nay, I am not going to get drunk on this show anymore for a while, at least. I got to cut it back a little bit. So don't be sending me 9,000 requests for shots. It's no. No, we'll do a couple here and there. I've got to be a professional, you guys. That's just how it's going to go, okay? Welcome to the program. Lot to get to. I am excited today. We've got a lot of sports to discuss. Usually Monday, pretty sports heavy because you got a couple days of things that took place. But also joining me on the show at 3:15, Sybil Winters-Little from the Bay Area Turning Point is going to join me. I have been wanting to make this happen for a while. I have been trying to get a guest on this program that can talk to me, and educate us as a community about this Deshaun Watson situation, specifically something that comes up a lot when you hear this discussed, and we'll get into it more, but I want to get, she works, if you don't know, Bay Area Turning Point is a facility that provides food, clothing, and shelter, and more to victims of domestic and sexual violence. So I want to get their input on this situation, because a lot of times we ask, well, why didn't they go cops? Why didn't they do this? We don't, and it's not out of spite, it's out of ignorance. So I'm hoping that Sybil can come on and educate us a little bit more on this topic. Maybe we'll all have a better understanding of what's going on in this Deshaun Watson situation. Lots of stuff to get to, though. NCAA tourney stuff. I want to talk a little bit about the UFC 260 that occurred. We got to talk about soccer. Yes, actual soccer talk, you raggedy bitches. We are going to talk soccer for like maybe 5 minutes. I mean, don't expect me to know anybody's name or scores or anything like that. We're just going to talk about what an embarrassment the U.S. men's national team is for this country. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. But hey, before we get to all that, before we get rolling, we do have to acknowledge the greatest deckhead in the history of the world, at least for the next 2 hours, and that would be none other than Jesus Perez. Jesus, what's up, Playboy? Thank you for being the first one in the chat. Thank you for being ready to go on a Monday. Not like anybody else. It was just like, whatever. Jesus was like, let's get it. First in the chat. Probably got the first like. And then D-Mata Congo blocked him for $1, which ain't cool, but you know what? It happens. I feel like there should be a rule like you can only Congo block if it's $100. No, I'm just kidding. Because then everybody would get triple crowns. But no, this is good stuff. We got a lot to get to. I'm going to do the chat because I haven't done one in a while. And quite frankly, I don't care. So D-Mata's in the building. What's up, Playboy? I saw him and Walt talking F1 on the Discord. I was like, oh, they're just so happy to have each other. It's cute. There's Jesus a little bit behind. Almost had the Triple Crown player. Alan Denson is here. There's D-Mata being a dick and laughing. Jesus Perez, Uriel Villanueva, KD, Donna, Who else is here? This ugly ass dude. Who is that? Marsha is in the building. CC. We got to talk about the Deckettes. Big love to the Deckettes. Justin Swinford is in the building. Yeah, he's got the blue. Justin Swinford's officially a moderator, so everyone chill the fuck out. Tony Garza is here. Sylvia, what's up, girl? Happy Monday. Sandoval and H-Town Jen, Jeff Bell, Aaron J. Bryant, Robert Likes Beer. Jess is in the building. Don't drink and draw. Follow her on Twitch. Mike Leaveshock, what's up, player? Rudolph Rodriguez, my favorite slogan in the chat. Sanitizer, wash hands, social distance. Don't forget to do all of that, you dumb idiots. What's up, Ray? Look at Michael Caravante celebrating. When last we talked, the Coogs were a Sweet 16. Now they're Elite 8. Yeah, let's get to it. Let's talk about all that. Yeah, we're going to talk about Ngannou. We got a lot to get to. I don't care about your soccer takes, Tony. I really don't give a shit. I'm not going to embarrass myself. I mean, I'm going to embarrass myself, but I'm not going to care if I embarrass myself. Please know that. Just be glad we're talking soccer on Barry on Deck. I am like totally not for this, but it's a necessary discussion. But before we get to the sports, and believe me, I have plenty of sports for us to discuss. I've got a lot of, look, I got shithoused on Friday. Okay, so I've got some things that I need to make up for. I've got some clerical work, and that would start with all the super chats that I missed because I also deleted the damn alert, and I totally forgot to even add it right now. I'm going to add it mid-show. I don't care. I can do that. I'm fancy like that. These are all of the super chats that I missed on Friday. One, because I accidentally deleted the alert, but I accidentally deleted the alert because I was drunk as shit, and that's going to happen sometimes. So Total Dallas, thank you for the $5 super chat, my friend. Charles Garza, thank you for the $5 super chat. All you guys on $5 Friday are the best. Fidel Limon with the $2 super chat. Thank you, my friend. He said, I'm here for this. Yeah, I think I got the names mixed up on Lawn Talk and then yelled at the wrong person. It was a whole thing. You might go back and watch the episode. It might be worth it. Hell, I don't know. Maybe it's not. Total Dallas, again with another super chat. Thank you for the $10, my friend. He said, parenthood ain't fair. My son just got a Spirit Jordan, his ones. That's nice. Jeff Bell with the $5 Friday. Thank you. The AR Platinum. Still mad you talked me into those DJ Screw Air Maxes. I thought I got that one. Maybe not. Who knows? Nonetheless, those are all the super chats that I missed on the show on Friday for drinking. And this is one reason. I also forgot to do my reads. No more drinking. I mean, not a lot. We'll still drink a little bit. Not a lot, though. Okay, not a lot. Also, I got to say, shout out real quick. Oh, I did get it. Okay. I got to say shout out real quick to the Deckettes that showed up. Pink Valkyrie, Katie, Crystal Collins, brought her youngins. I say youngins. She's old. Oh, you thought it was a great show? Man, I'm going to tell you, I passed out after that show. I ate. I was on the couch. I was asleep, but then I was up by 9 and stayed up till like 3 in. But I got to say, much love to the Deckettes. Thank you guys for coming out. You guys for coming out to the House of Blues. Had a show there Saturday night, I think it was. Yeah, I was there Saturday night, but I got to, when I went on stage, I thought CC was coming. I wasn't 100% sure, but then when you get on stage and you see familiar, sweet faces, it just makes you over the moon as a comedian when you see somebody you know or a friend or it feels good. Okay, it feels good. So that was dope, and it was great to see them, and it made me happy, and I got to hang out with them a little bit afterwards, so it was really dope. So thank you guys so much for coming out to the show. Very much appreciate y'all hanging with me. Also, one other thing we got to clean up before we get to the sports, and I'm going to jump into this soccer stuff first. So we're going to talk soccer. We're going to talk Deshaun Watson. We're going to talk UFC. We're going to get to all that, I promise you, and you're going to have your say in the chat as well, and I'll make sure that gets on the show. But one other thing I wanted to bring up, and we're going to talk Coogs as well, but here is the top 10 for the Barry on Deck NCAA Madness of March bracket. Look at Total Dallas spanking that ass. Go on ahead, Playboy. Total Dallas sitting at top with 60. Walt hanging in there. PK said, okay, love y'all. Go Coogs. Bye, girl. See you later. Thank you for dropping in, sweetie. Walt hanging in there at second, along with Aaron Little, which I don't know why Aaron had no confidence. He said it was his losing bracket, but he's in third right now. Actually tied for second, I should say. Framos with the bracket at 57 is in fourth. Ruin at fifth with 55. That ain't bad, Playboy. Y'all don't know Ruin. He's not in the chat a lot, I don't believe, but he leaves a lot of comments. He's very active in the comments, which I very much appreciate, Ruin. Thank you so much. Good looking out, Playboy. Eric with the 54, along with Francisco and Penguin Katie. And then J-Mo at 53, along with Sylvia. I'm telling you, Sylvia is my sleeper in this. I still think she could come back. I still think she's got it. She's not that far out. She's only 7 out. Y'all keep an eye on her. I'm telling y'all, Sylvia's a beast. I do like Francisco. Just want to beat White Magic and KD. And guess what? He's doing both. So there you go. All right, so there's your update. If you want the rest of the bracket, guess what? No one gives a shit because we're all losers. Like, legitimately, the rest of the bracket is just a bunch of morons, including me. We all don't know what the hell we're doing. It's White Magic. It's me. We suck. House, I think. Was House on this? No, House wasn't on this. He's stupid. The House isn't even close to. Jen didn't even fill her bracket out. She's last. Loser. What did Total Dallas say? Why did the lineup look like a cell phone signal? Yo, what? Bro, that ain't right. It did look like I had all 4 bars, though. It went from shortest. Is that okay to say about Pink? Yes, she's short. She knows she's short. You ain't right for that, though, at all. Jazz, thank you, sweetie, for the $5 super chat. She said, I didn't get a chance to celebrate $5 Friday, so here you. Aw, you are the sweetest. You don't need to worry about that. Thank you, though, sweetie. You're the best. Nora and I are working on a plan, by the way. I'm gonna reveal the new background on the 1-year anniversary show. We're already buying shit. So May 11th, and we've got plans to light up Oliver's picture as well. So this is all in the works. That's going to be cool. I had good timing today. Just got here because I can only win the Triple Crown once or twice a week unless I want to go broke. I dig that, player. I get it. I get it. I totally get that. Okay. All the stuff. Let's see. Deckettes at the show. Mr. Super Chats. Madness of March update. Oh! One other thing, I got 2 other things. One show update, and then we're going to get to sports. One show update. We're now on Pandora. So we are on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, wherever. What is it? Podbean. Get the Podbean app. Wherever you get your podcasts, you can find Barry on Deck. And we are now on Pandora as well, and I'll probably do some things with them. So gotta say, shout out and thank you to Cece from my koozie. She sent me she gave me a Queen Bee koozie at the show. So I got my 50 Shades of Cece when I'm drinking. See, I'm drinking water today. I'm being a good boy, so it doesn't really work. But when I get my Diet Cokes, I got my koozie. Also, I gotta say thank you and shout out again. What's up, House? I got to say thank you and shout out to Alan and Catherine Dennison because Dennison? Well, I'm just adding extras. They didn't send me anything, but they sent Oliver Laminack Esquire some stuff. First of all, he's not a lawyer, but check this shit out. They sent Oliver some catnip and a Smarty Cat hum singer, which is supposed to actually sound like a hummingbird. That is dope as shit, and he loves catnip. He's literally a crackhead. I really want to use this, but I'm worried I'll mess it up. But this is pretty. I'm gonna let Nora handle it because I'll probably mess it up. And then they send him his very. I have my own Patron bottle in the back. You can see the one in the middle. Oh, I got a light out. But Oliver now has his own Patron bottle that lights up. Isn't that awesome? So we'll put that up there. Next to Oliver, that'll go on his light. So thank you to the Densons, man. Y'all are cool as shit. Thank you so much for that. Badass. He doesn't even know he has it yet. I'm not giving it to him. One more thing I gotta say. Thank you to Ignacio Cilio. Thank you for sending 4 more games. Oh my God. The love don't stop. I've got Metal Gear 5, Rocket League, Madden 18, and Madden 19. Add to the pile. So excited about this shit. That's dope as hell. Can't remember to write that down, Jen. Yeah, that is dope as hell. Even more games. Thank you guys. Keep them coming, man. As long as you want to send them, I'll take them. Okay. What did I miss from Jen? I've taken a hiatus from streaming. Oh, yes. Get back to it, girl. It's all about just stay the course. Stay the course. Okay, sports time. Let's get to the headlines. First things first on the sports headlines. Nope, that's the wrong thing. Get out of here, you loser. QB Trevor Lawrence is going to be a Jag. Urban Meyer saying that's probably the direction they're going to head. I don't think that surprises anybody in the NFL, at least. The NBA's Basketball Africa League is set to debut May 16th in Rwanda. They've got 12 teams across the continent of Africa that they are going to be creating as far as that league goes. So just another step forward in the NBA's quest for world basketball domination. Sources are saying that Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor 3 is soon to be finalized, so you can look forward to that. And shortly after acquiring Austin Rivers, OKC has waived him at the deadline, and Lou Dort will be out a couple of weeks, I believe, is what I saw. So not good news for them there. So there are your sports headlines. Now, let's talk about what I put on the show headline. Team Congo, where's my jersey? It's just like a long one. It's not a full jersey. It's just a long. Rivers is going to the Bucks. We're going to discuss that. I have a bone to pick with the NBA. Kind of pissed off. I'm also pissed off at AT&T. We're going to talk about that as well. Them some bitches ruined my whole weekend. So that rant will probably occur at some point when I build up enough anger. But I do want to talk a little bit about this U.S. men's national team. If you did not hear, the U.S. men's national team failed to qualify for the Olympics. The greatest country in the world, not from a soccer perspective, just in general, has missed its third straight Olympics men's soccer tournament. Olympic men's soccer tournament. The third one in a row. Now, normally I don't talk soccer on this show. It's not a sport that I'm into, and I'm not one of those dudes that's going to come on a show and pretend like I know what I'm talking about. You guys get enough of that in sports talk radio in Houston and around the country. You get a bunch of people pretending like they know what the fuck they're saying because they read somebody else's article. They make a few notes and go, well, that'll be my point too. And then they come on and try to pretend like they know what they're talking about. And by the way, since it's just us girls chatting, they do that on a lot of stuff, okay? Not just soccer. They do it on baseball if they don't know baseball, basketball if they don't know basketball, football, sports talk radio guys, not all of them. A lot of them are lazy. It's not that they're not intelligent, but they're just lazy, and they would rather just get somebody else to give them their take. So am I going to sit here and break down the deficiencies in the U.S. men's national team and why the coach has to go and they need a better striker and goalkeeper and whatever forward and midfielder? I don't even know all the positions. And a fullback, a halfback, they need to get a couple of tight ends. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they could trade with the Patriots. I don't know how this stuff works. What I will tell you is this. This is not Soccer Matters, Paul. If you want me and every other average American pasty white guy or black guy, there's no pasty black. Well, there's probably pasty black guys. If you want the average person in this country to give a shit about soccer, the very least you need to do, soccer, is make the Olympics. This is why a lot of us don't give a shit. We suck as a country at this game. And you want me to be excited about it. I'm sorry. I'm not the guy, what about Barcelona, Real Madrid, or whatever the other countries' names? I'm not the guy that's going to root for another country's soccer team or another team in another country. I want to root for the Dynamo. I want to root for the U.S. men's national team, the ladies national team. I want to root for my teams, my home teams. This is why when the Oilers left, I didn't become a Titan fan, Hugo, because I'm not a sellout to my city. I'm not a sellout to my state, and I'm not a sellout to my country. But if you want me to get excited about soccer, the very least you need to do is get my attention every 4 years. So guess what Olympic sport I won't be watching? Men's soccer. And you guys can sit there and talk about all that shit in the chat and you don't need it. I'm telling you right now, if you think I'm the only one, if you want to know why soccer isn't more popular in this country, this is why. Because the product is inferior, and you give people like me who want to root for a city and root for his country no reason to watch or root. It starts at the top. You've got to make the Olympics. It's awful. It's terrible. The U.S. men's national team hasn't made the Olympics in 3 Olympics. And you want me to talk soccer on this show. Guess what, fam? It's going to be another 4 years before we do it again. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But see, look, so VB says the problem is the world of soccer doesn't care about the Olympics. I don't give a shit about that. Listen, some of you soccer nerds and soccer dorks, I respect that you know all that and that you're into it. And you're like, no one cares. The Olympics is like blah, blah, blah. It's like the Pro Bowl in football or whatever. Okay, cool. No doubt. I am sure that you and every other soccer nerd in the chat, it has a valid point for whatever point you're making. What I'm trying to tell you is if you want the average Joe Schmo like me that doesn't make sleepy faces like P. Jones when soccer talk comes up, if you want me and P. Jones and anybody else in the chat that doesn't give a shit about soccer to give a shit about soccer, then you need to get your U.S. men's national team to at least make the goddamn Olympics. Otherwise, it's back to the back of the line, soccer. I got other more important shit that I got to pretend like I care about, like men's college basketball. Because I don't even give a shit about that. But guess what? Coogs are doing their part. Coogs got me ready to watch some men's college basketball this week. Yeah, I hadn't watched the game yet. I got to figure out my TV situation. We'll talk about that in a minute. Fuck AT&T. But I'm just telling you, if you want people excited about soccer, you need to make soccer exciting for the people. And that starts with the Olympics. It starts with having good quality clubs in your city. You know, look, hockey's not a popular sport down here in Houston. But when the Arrows were good, people went. When the Dynamo were good, people will go. You'll get talked about on the news. You want to drum up support for your sport? That's where you do it. So I don't know what to tell you, soccer. I don't know what to tell you. Apathy is worse than hate. See? That's a great point, Michael Caravantes. It's not that I hate soccer. I just don't give a shit. I legitimately, you could make whatever you think would be the most mind-blowing soccer stat or play or outcome or whatever else that you would just be like, oh my God, like soccer dudes all over the planet would just be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. I would be like, what the fuck does that even mean? I mean, I'm not, y'all, I joke about hating it. It's apathy. It is 1,000% apathy. I just don't give it. Soccer, I don't hate soccer. It just ain't on my radar. There's like very few sports I hate. But, I mean, it's just like, I don't know. I'll sit down and try to watch soccer. Nope. There's no investment for me. There's no investment for me. VB said, how about focus on World Cup qualifying? Again, whatever. Look, maybe I can't speak for the average sports fan that is apathetic to soccer, but we don't really know the difference in magnitude between the Olympics and the world. When we look at it, when the average sports fan, and I'm talking average, again, I'm not talking about you soccer nerds, but when I'm talking average sports fan, we look at the Olympics as a bigger deal than World Cup sometimes. It's like, I don't know. The hell do I care? World Cup versus the Olympics, isn't that the same thing? What's the difference? It's the world playing each other. So you can, and I know, oh my God, here goes the chat. That's not even close. The World Cup means more. Okay, cool. But what I'm telling you is the rest of us that don't give a shit about the sport you watch don't know that. Nor do we give a shit. So my point is, make the Olympics, make the World Cup. Maybe you'll get some run every 4 years. Otherwise, don't come crying to me when no one gives a shit about your sport. So, I don't know. Everyone is an average sport fan until you learn it. Average football fans are apathetic. Average fans are every sport. Okay. That's not true either. I mean, you know, there are fans that know, you know, there are like, take White Magic, for example. He knows baseball. He just doesn't give a shit about it. Just doesn't care about the sport of baseball. So, you know, is he an average sports fan? No. He knows the ins and outs of baseball, I'm sure. He just doesn't give a shit about it. So I think that's a little bit different argument. Total Dallas said, I like soccer and baseball. I don't understand people who like one of those and say the other one is boring. Oh, I don't know either. I love baseball. Don't give a shit about soccer. Paul said, I think average knows World Cup over Olympics. I only watch football. I don't know. I mean, you couldn't have told me that. I don't know the damn difference. What do I care? I don't know the difference because I don't care about the sport enough. So you gotta, again, you have to make these moments stand out to, if you want to attract average fans, if you want to attract people that aren't jazzed about your sport. I'll put it to you this way. Flip the script. Baseball, an Olympic sport. If the USA isn't in the Olympics playing baseball, people that aren't baseball fans aren't going to give a shit even more. But if they're playing, they're more likely to watch and root for the good old USA and put some eyes on the sport. And then when you want to talk about the World Baseball Classic and all that, you think people give a shit about that? I mean, hardcore baseball nerds might, but the average person doesn't know the difference between that and the Olympics or the World Series or anything else. What I'm telling you is you better participate if you want to grow your sport. And the U.S. men's national team is doing themselves and the sport in this country a disservice every time they miss the Olympics. So, change the name to Barry on Sports to Barry Erder. How about you change the name to Go Fuck Yourself? What? I'm just giving you an opinion of somebody that doesn't give a fuck about your sport, Tony. And you want to try to be a funny ass in the chat. I'm telling you what I think. And there are a lot of people that think like I think. So if you want to get mad and try to be funny, whatever. Don't listen to me then. And watch your sport continue to fucking flounder in this country. Cece said, if I hadn't spent thousands on my kids' club soccers, then I probably wouldn't be interested in either. Dandy Dan, there is nothing wrong with not caring about a sport or wanting to learn about it as long as they're not insulting. You try to talk soccer on a show that doesn't talk soccer. If you want to talk soccer, go watch Glenn Davis's show from 2 to 4. That's the point. Bro, you want me to talk about a sport I don't give a shit about or know about? That's fucking dumb. That is fucking dumb. I'm not going to watch soccer, just like I don't break down NCAA men's basketball. I'm not going to ask soccer fans, hey, come watch my show because I don't give a fuck about soccer and you should force me to watch it. That'd be like me breaking down F1 or NASCAR. Do I do that? No. Do I tell you should watch my show to get that? No. Go fucking watch another show that talks sports that you are interested in. Racing, karate, whatever the fuck it is. And if this ain't the show for you, this ain't the show for you. Fine. World Baseball Classic was interesting. See, that's the thing, Paul. Yeah, it's exactly right. That'd be like, fucking D-Mata starting an F1, a Formula One talk in the chat. Well, I tried to talk F1. Most of us don't care enough. I don't care enough. And if I don't care enough, then the show's not going to fucking discuss it. That's just how this works. There's some things I don't talk about that some of you love and the others hate and vice versa. But if I'm not into it or I don't have an educated opinion on it, then I'm not going to talk about it. And if you choose not to be here for it, fine. I understand that. That's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and fake like I know or give a fuck about soccer. What I'm trying to tell you is my opinion as a non-soccer devotee, what's wrong with soccer? Nah, this motherfucker coming in here with the herd there. Fuck him. Just because, we tried to talk soccer. Yeah, and I didn't give a shit about it. Most people didn't. D-Mata tries to talk F1. It doesn't happen. Yeah, that's about right. Let's get to AT&T. So, now this might be partially my fault. Okay. I will go ahead and own the fact that I might have messed up a little bit. So, I was supposed to, when I got my new phone, the lady said, you can turn in your old phone and get $700 for it. And I was like, oh, okay. That sounds great. Well, I'll do that. So they ordered the phone for me. It shipped to my house. I didn't mess with it for a couple days. Finally got it turned on. Wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Busy. Finally got around to taking the phone back. Sunday. Was it Sunday? Sunday. Maybe it was Saturday. No, it was Saturday. Took the phone back on Saturday. So I go into the AT&T store and I'm like, hi, remember me? She's like, no. I was like, okay, I'm here to return this phone that you said I could get a $700 credit, which like $30 a month over the next 2 years. My payment for my new phone would only be $15 because of the $700. She goes, oh yeah, great. Give me the phone. She takes the phone. She undoes it all. She fucking types it in, getting it all ready. She's like, oh, well, you're outside your 30-day window. What 30-day window? She was like, oh, well, there's a 30-day window to bring back your trade-in. Oh, well, nobody told me that. Well, it says it on the stuff. Oh, well, you ordered the phone for me, and then you told me come back when you're ready. And I'm ready. She's like, oh, well, yeah. It's you're out of your window. I was like, well, what was the window? 30 days. I was like, well, when did I get the phone? She goes, well, it was ordered on the 20th and it shipped on the 21st and you activated it on the 23rd. Okay. So how far out of the window am I? She's like, well, they do it not on when you activate the phone and begin using it. It's when they ship it. So, if it's delayed because the post office is all fucked up and can't send stuff overnight, you lose some days there. So she's like, you're 30. It's been 35 days. Then she says this. Now, had this been earlier in the month, you would have made it. February 11th, they changed from 45 days allotted time to 30. I was like, so in the middle of a pandemic, you decided to give people less time to come out in public to your store to return some shit? Does that make sense to you? And she was like, well, I mean, that's just the rules now. I was like, this is kind of horseshit, because if you go off of the date that I activated my new phone till now, we're talking 32 days. If the window is 30 days, I'm 2 days past when I started using the new phone. So you mean to tell me, having been with you for a decade, you're not just going to go ahead and give me credit for this phone? She was like, well, I can ask. And then she comes back and goes, no, they're not going to give you credit. She goes, now what you can do is you could call customer service and maybe they'll do something for you, but we're not going to do anything in this store. I was like, you guys are fucking assholes. And then there was a cop in there and he was like, I was like, well, I'm not about to get Karen'd up in this bitch. But I was like, y'all are fucking assholes. I'm canceling all my shit. 2 days. I've been with you motherfuckers for a decade. 2 days. I was like, fuck y'all. And I walked out. And then I went to the car and I sat down and I called customer service. And I got some lady and she was like, well, there's really nothing we can do for you. Maybe go inside and ask them. I said, ma'am, I just fucking left and I'm literally sitting in the parking lot. By the way, the cop came out to make sure I wasn't some fucking shooter or whatever, and then went down and sat at the end of the fucking thing just to keep an eye on me. I was like, man, the fuck out of here. So I'm sitting in the car on the phone with customer service and they're like, well, let me see. Let me go. They give me the runaround for like 5 or 10 minutes. And then they're like, yeah, there's nothing we can do for you. What you should do is go back inside or go back to the store and ask them if they'll make an exception. I said, ma'am, I was just in the store. I'm literally staring at the lady that wouldn't help me. Oh, well, I don't know what to do. I said, well, then I'll tell you what I'll do. Go ahead and cancel my U-verse right now. And when this 2-year contract is up on this raggedy ass motherfucking phone, I'm moving to Verizon so you can cancel that too. And I'll find a new internet service provider at the house because your shit's been going out on me since the freeze anyways. So cancel all my shit that I can cancel now, and then y'all can go fuck yourselves in 2 years. She was like, well, okay. I guess we'll get you to the whatever, customer retention. So then I get on the phone with the customer retention lady and she's like, yeah, you should go in. You should go do. I was like, ma'am, I've done all that. All right. I've been with you guys for a decade. I'm 2 days late. It's a pandemic. And Nora kept saying, I don't know why you kept saying that. That's so stupid. No one gives a shit. I was like, yeah, but you gotta use all your excuses. You don't leave any ammo in the fucking gun. You got to empty that. So she's like, well, let me see what I can do. She puts me on hold for like 10, 15 minutes. She comes back. She goes, well, I got bad news. The returns department is a stickler about the rules. And even though you were technically 2 days late, 5 at the most, they're just not going to do that. I was like, all right, well then cancel my U-verse right now. Cancel it. She was like, is there a way? I was like, yeah, the way is you give me my $700 refund or cancel my U-verse. And then when this other shit is up, I'm out. So she canceled my U-verse. And I was like, yeah, goddamn right. And then I hung up and I got home and I was like, oh, we ain't got no TV. Nora's like, I was like, well, I may have flew off the handle a little bit with the AT&T people. And then just canceled the TV. She was like, you canceled the TV? Yeah. I said, we were going to cancel it anyways. This happened a little sooner. Now, what I did figure out is that there are other alternatives that might be just as good. So I hopped on the Discord. I was like, yo, I told AT&T to go fuck themselves. How do I watch TV now? Because what we were going to do is cancel U-verse and get AT&T Now, which is their streaming service like Fubo or YouTube TV or Hulu Live or whatever other shit you use. But I was like, well, I'm not doing that now. I refuse. So had some help on the Discord that said, try this IPTV called Real Streams. I was like, is this legal? When they were like, I don't know. I Googled it. Apparently, and I'm not a lawyer. None of this shit is legal advice. But from a link I found, it's not illegal to view a stream live. You can't record it or duplicate it. But so you can't get into trouble, but the people that might be illegally streaming it can't, unless you download a piece of copyrighted material. So just viewing a streamed piece of copyrighted material like a TV show or UFC or a movie, according to this article, you can't get in trouble. If you were to download it from Napster or a BitTorrent or whatever, that's when they could press charges on you because you are illegally obtaining a copy of a copywritten item. That's what this article said. Then, so I installed, and I can't get this shit to work. I'm worried they got my credit card now. I'm like, this seems shady AF. I don't know what's going on. So I then ended up installing Fubo. And so far, so good. Yeah, if YouTube had AT&T, that's what I would do too. But they don't, but Fubo does. Here's the crazy thing. So Fubo's, they have several different packages, and the one Nora and I signed up for was $70 a month. And you get like 116 channels. You can pay an extra $5 or $10 a month for another 45 channels, most of which we don't watch. It covers all the shit that she watches: travel, discovery, history, and some other channel. It had AT&T Sportsnet for me, so I can watch Rockets and Astros. Now, the IPTV was only $11 a month, and it's got channels from all over the world, plus porn, which I'm like, well, porn's, I mean, oh, you know, it's there. We'll see what they got. And it's got movies, it's got pay-per-views, it's got a lot of shit for $11 a month. So then I was like, okay, Fubo is $70. Not bad. Let me see how much I was paying for Uverse. So I by the way, 7-day trial for Fubo. So I put it on my Fire Sticks, which is now my new cable boxes. You don't even need a cable box. Just get you a Fire Stick or a smart TV. It's amazing. I pull up my bill for Uverse. When I tell you I almost shit my pants in bed. I almost shit my pants in bed. Oh, I was paying $185 a month just for Uverse, just for cable TV, just to watch TV. That's not counting Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, none of that other shit. That's not counting my internet. Just the TV package with AT&T Uverse was $185. And now I'm missing a few channels and I'm paying $70. And I'm still, so I was paying $185 plus Netflix, like all that shit, right? Now I'm paying $70, less than half. And I was like, I'll just keep the IPTV for pay-per-view shit. So that $11 a month, I can just watch boxing, UFC, football, whatever. So for $81 a month, I get everything. If you can stream it, you can watch it. Instead of $185. It's insane. I can't believe I was paying that much for that long. Ridiculous. What is this? Why is Michael Cavan saying, guys? Michael said, I cut cord years ago, but about to cord back up. The services have gotten so expensive that I'd be saving money to get back on Xfinity. Well, I don't know. I mean, $185. I didn't even have the most expensive stuff. I didn't have any of the HBO, Cinemax, none of that shit. I had U300. $185. Because the HD fee and the boxes. And that's the other thing. Every box is like 10 more bucks a month. We have 5 or 6 TVs in the house. I can't have a box on every TV. We can only watch 1 or 2 at a time max. But you know, you want one. Like we have a TV in the bathroom, so we had to have a box in there. When Nora gets ready, she listens to the news. We have one in the bedroom. We have one in the living room. We have one outside on the porch. We have one in the guest bedroom. We got one in my office right here, which I need to... I'm like, I don't need cable boxes for all that shit, so I just have to move a box around. But now I can buy a $30 Fire Stick, one-time fee, put it on every TV, We can watch whatever the fuck we want. I dig it. I'm excited about this new version. So Justin said Xfinity is the play. Yeah, so some of you guys are saying Xfinity. Do you guys have their internet? Because I have AT&T internet, and I'm telling you, I think that's half the reason why I've been having problems streaming since the freeze. I think my fiber's jacked up. So, I'm not impressed. I don't understand one Wi-Fi box. Oh, see? That's crazy. Yes, TV in the bathroom with my coffee machine. Correct. Xfinity, 4 boxes, sports packages, upgraded internet, $200. Oh, no. I was 205. Oh, no. I was 185 plus 40. So I was 225 for UVerse 300 and 100 megabit fiber. See, that's the other thing. If I'm paying 80 or 70 plus 11, if I'm paying 81, I can now upgrade the speed of my internet to the 300 fiber. I'm at 100. And I think that's like 20 more, but now I'm still saving $85 with faster internet and more channels because of the weird semi-legal IP service. Okay, so see, this is the other thing. Xfinity, 1 gig, Xfinity internet. I have Xfinity. You can get basic local channels for free. Okay. Xfinity and cable bundle, $185. Michael said, you might check into it, Barry. Xfinity offering 1 gig service and most channels for about $120 here in town. No HBO or that, but whatever. Well, yeah, I'm stuck with this HBO Max for 2 years because I'm stuck with AT&T for 2 years. My Xfinity is 1 gig is $100 a month by itself. Damn. That's boy. You got a bunch there. Hey, before we, so we're going to talk sports next hour too. I know sometimes we do sports in hour 1 and not sports in hour number 2, but joining me in hour number 2 at 3:15, we're going to have a guest that's going to talk to us about some of the details, not details, but some of the information surrounding this Deshaun Watson, the Deshaun Watson allegations. I want to make sure I use the right verbiage here. Specifically, what we're going to talk about is the victims and how victims handle domestic violence, sexual assault, charges, not pressing charges, how that all works. So we'll talk to Sybil Winters Little from Bay Area Turning Point at 3:15. She's going to join the show. So we're going to get into a little bit more of the Deshaun Watson stuff on the other side at 3 o'clock. Plus, we still need to talk Coogs and UFC. And if you didn't hear, if you've been, living under a rock, Coogs advanced to the Elite Eight. This is it. This is it. Today, 6:15, Coogs play Oregon State. Baylor will play Arkansas. And then tomorrow, you've got Gonzaga, USC, and Michigan, UCLA. I saw somebody redo the Elite Eight, I should say. And they ranked the teams. Gonzaga, obviously, number 1. Everybody feels like they have the best shot of winning it all. Still undefeated at this point, which is pretty crazy. But they had Houston at 6, right behind Oregon State, which I find to be interesting. They've got a 2 seed below a 12 seed, reseeding the last 8, or the final 8. So pretty interesting there. Not that I know whether they're right or wrong. I'm just passing on the facts that I saw. I'm going to tell you this, though. This is pretty badass for the city. The last time I was legitimately into college basketball, and I mean legitimately into it, was Phi Slamma Jamma. My mom is a huge U of H. She graduated from U of H. She's a huge Cougars fan. She once got a jersey from Andre Ware back in the run and shoot days that she gave to me. I don't know where it is. Don't tell her. But I remember going to the Cadillac Bar and Grill and watching UH lose to Georgetown and it breaking my heart. So this is the first time since that era that the Cougs have gotten to the Elite Eight. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I'm like, let's shock them, Coug them, whatever the fuck it is. No. I'm not going to bandwagon it. I have seen people on Twitter that are like, hey, I'm a UH grad. Don't come jumping on our bandwagon. But they didn't mention the goddamn Cougars all year long. Not until they make it to the Sweet 16. Now, all of a sudden, these raggedy-ass Cougar fans are like, you can't mess with us. Us, bitch, you weren't tweeting about them in November. Stop it. Anyway. Yeah, Elite Eight. Big deal. Big deal. Good for the city. Good for the school. Kelvin Sampson's doing his thing over there. Yes, Coog them. Whatever it is. And then UFC. Do we have time for UFC? Yeah, we have time for UFC results. So that was the schedule. Last thing I wanted to talk about real quick, if you missed it, UFC 260. Francis Ngannou almost decapitated Stipe Miocic. And I didn't get to watch the fight, obviously, because, didn't have any TV service. However, what this actually sets up is a pretty interesting fight between Ngannou and Jon Jones now in the heavyweight division. This is going to be interesting because I will say this. When asked who I thought would win this fight, I went ahead and picked Stipe Miocic because better wrestler, better takedowns. Ngannou seems kind of like a one-trick pony in that he does have some other skills, but his definitive skill is knockout. I mean, that's what he does. He's like Derek Lewis. You cannot get clipped by Francis Ngannou. It just, but the clips that I saw, again, didn't watch the whole thing, had to find it on YouTube and other places. But what I saw from Francis Ngannou was an improved all-around fighter. Better takedown defense, better feints, better boxing, better everything, better wrestling. And that was why I had picked Miocic, because he was a more well-rounded fighter. At the one point, everybody was like, wow, is anybody ever going to be able to beat this dude? Then he got caught. And they actually had to send him to the hospital for a CT scan, for a CAT scan, because they weren't sure what was going on. But this next fight, this Jon Jones, Francis Ngannou fight, is very interesting to me. When you have an improved Francis Ngannou, Jon Jones isn't going to necessarily look to take him down. It's going to be a little more difficult to do that based on what we saw. It's a very intriguing fight. Jon Jones has never lost except for the one DQ for 12 to 6 elbows. So I'm into this one. I want to see this fight. I mean, if Miocic had won and we were getting a Jon Jones Miocic fight, I wasn't going to care about that as much. But I really want to see this Francis Ngannou Jon Jones fight. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. The way that Francis Ngannou dismantled Miocic in this fight, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. I would be shocked, to say the least, if Jon Jones loses that fight. But I'm going to tell you what, after seeing what I saw just in the brief clips that I saw, that's a different Francis Ngannou. That's not a one-trick pony anymore. Heavyweight division needs to be very scared. If that dude gets a little bit better at wrestling, if he gets a little bit better at certain aspects of the fight game, oh my God, with that power, some of the feints he had, there was one where I saw a clip where he feinted a hook or an overhand right and instead kicked him in the head with. It was just, I was like, wow, it's a lot different than what I was used to seeing. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good one. All right, let's get to the break now. Unfortunately for you guys, a lot of other shit going on this morning. I didn't make a break video. And I know some of you are going to leave me, and I deserve it. All right. But we're going to take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little Deshaun Watson. And then I'm joined by Sybil Winters-Little from Bay Area Turning Point. We're going to talk about, specifically talking about victims of sexual and domestic violence and how what the mindset is of a victim and why they make the choices they make in that process. So we'll have more of that at 3:15. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. It may not be a full 5. I'm just going to go, pee, you go pee, poop, whatever it is you do during the break, smoke a bowl, drink a beer, take a shot, whatever. And then we're back. 5 minutes. Barry on deck. Don't go anywhere. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. See you in a second. back to hour number 2 of Barry on Deck. I'm your host, Barry Laminack. Thank you guys for sticking around through the break. Speaking of breaks, real quick, I want to tell you guys about the fine folks over at Dan's Seafood and Wings. Some of the best Asian, Latin, and Cajun-inspired seafood and wing recipes in H-Town, hands down. Go to eatadans.com for more information if you don't get it from this read. But I'm telling you right now, it is crawfish season. And if you want the best crawfish in the city of Houston, get over to Dan's. CC knows. Look, checking in. Her and PK were at Dan's this weekend. By the way, I tell you, Francisco loves the lo mein, right? We know that. CC loves their crawfish. She said she had crawfish twice in one day. One of them wasn't Dan's, and it wasn't all that. And these aren't my words. This is what the ladies say. These are what the Deckettes said after they went there. Francisco loves their lo mein. Fidel Limon went over there and loved it. I'm telling you guys, if you want some of the best seafood in the city of Houston, go to Dan's Seafood and Wings. They've got some different options for you for your crawfish. They got garlic butter seasoning, mild, medium, extra spicy. They do the boiled egg thing now, which is cool. 2 locations for you. South Gessner, in the southwest side of town, and on the north side at Uvalde on the northeast side of town. It's Dan's Seafood and Wings. Check it out. And hey, while you're online, do me a favor, check out the Y Factor. Guys, it is March, and the Y Factor wants you to quote, #finish the job. And what that means is give your partner a break. You know, they're doing the birth control thing. They're trying to prevent you guys from having any more babies. You got 11 kids already running around, and you're like, that's enough. Why don't you take 15 minutes out of your life and go get a no-scalpel vasectomy? Put an end to the madness, finish the job. Give your partner a break with the birth control. It takes less than 15 minutes, no scalpels, no needles. And take it from our boy, Reverend Lord Chris Householder III. He went through it. He said it was painless. There was some minor discomfort, but that is it. He bragged. He raved about the Y Factor's communication. I've been there. I can tell you right now, they don't treat you like a number. They treat you like a person. Pre and post-op, the communication was great. Look, if you want to maybe, make a change, be able to do some sexy time without worrying, go get a no-scalpel vasectomy, #finish the job. It is the Y Factor. Log on to the yfactor.com. It's the yfactor.com, or give them a call, 832-210-2556. That's 832-210-2556. And please do me a solid. When you talk to them, tell them you heard about it right here on Barry on Deck. Okay. Forgot to do those on Friday. All right, back to this. What did I say? Olives? People are putting olives in their crawfish? Oh, no. What kind of devil worshiping shit is this? Hey, let's talk a little bit about the latest allegations from Deshaun Watson, because it seems like this thing won't go away. It's not going to go away for a while, obviously. But the latest news is now that there are three more accusers that have come forward. 3 new lawsuits have been filed against Deshaun Watson, accusing him of sexual assault and inappropriate conduct. But this time, one of them claims that he was even deleting Instagram messages and contacting the women. And also, there was this discussion of the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement. Now, these are 2 separate conversations. One is the deleting of Instagram messages. I don't know if that's true or not. I mean, obviously, we're going to have to see the copies of the Instagram, and that'll all be requested, I'm sure, by Tony Busby and his group. But I will say this about the Instagram messages. If they are being deleted, if they were attempted to be deleted, it's a really bad look in an already awful looking situation for Deshaun Watson. It becomes one of those things where you can't go around and tell us that you've never done anything wrong and you've always treated these women with dignity and respect, and then you're out here trying to delete the messages that you send to them. So that's just one part of it. Now, let's talk a little bit about the information that's coming out about these non-disclosure agreements. There was some articles that hit that talked about the NDA is going to be leaked that Deshaun Watson was using with these ladies that he would hire to give him massages. Some of them they were asked to sign prior to doing the massage, and some of them they were asked to sign afterwards. Some of them refused to sign both before or after. And I do want to point out something in the interest of fairness. It is not uncommon. It is not unheard of for a celebrity, an athlete, or anybody else that does anything with somebody else to get an NDA signed because they don't want them taking information to the media. They don't want, so I don't want to say that, oh, well, he had an NDA. You know, if nothing else screamed guilt, this does. Y'all know me. Y'all know what side I've been on this from the beginning. I mean, day one, I said believe women, and that doesn't change. But I would want to make sure that we're not blowing certain things out of proportion necessarily. Now, if more information comes out about this NDA, maybe the verbiage is something that we haven't seen yet that says, hey, if there was anything sexual, you still can't say anything. That becomes a different story. But if it was just a generalized non-disclosure agreement about the services and who it was and the client and all that, that's pretty standard fare. So I will be interested to see what this NDA looks like. I have not seen a copy of it yet. I don't know if it's actually been released. Tony Busby talked about releasing it. We're going to find out, but this is just another layer on an already complicated case. And you know, as we begin to peel these layers back, it becomes more and more apparent that, you know, if there's smoke, there's probably fire. And we're up to 19 females coming forward with allegations against Deshaun Watson. And I said it last week. I want to say it again. I want to reiterate. If it's just, you know, because the Deshaun Watson and his crew, and they have a job to do, his attorney and their team have a job to do. And they said that they have proof that one of these allegations could be false. That they have proof that that the allegation is not true and accurate. So then they want to say that puts into question all of the allegations, which I think is silly, but that is the job of Rusty Hardin. But I think it is a disservice to the other 18 women if it is true that this one particular person was either, you know, fabricating the story or whatever it was. Because my stance on this is, if one of the 19 are telling the truth, it doesn't matter about the other 18. The one is enough for me. The one should be enough for all of us. So whether one of these 19 is accurate or one of these 19 is inaccurate is immaterial to the other 18 cases that we're seeing come before us. So I want to make sure, because you're going to get a lot of information, you're going to get a lot of disinformation. I want to make sure you guys are keeping this all in perspective. We are talking about 18 individuals, 18 lives, 18 different people with their own story to tell. We're going to find out in a court of law whether those stories are true or not, unless they settle. But I want to make sure that we don't just lump all of this in together, because that really does do a disservice to the victims, the potential victims, the alleged victims, whatever word you want to use that properly classifies this. We have to be very careful about that. Rev said, I heard the dumbest Deshaun conspiracy theory today. His camp is having all these women come forward. He will get cut. Then they will all purposely lose. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, it is moronic to hear some of this stuff that's coming forward. It's pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. Yeah. Total Dallas said, Rev, that the problem with that theory is it doesn't account for the suspension from the commission. Yeah. And that's the other thing. Remember the initial theory. All these theories are just that. It's people that think they have stuff figured out. It's just gossipers online. Because remember, the big theory as this started was this was a smear campaign by the Texans and Cal McNair. I mean, never mind the fact that these women might just be telling the truth. Oh, this was all orchestrated by Cal McNair. The worst run organization in the NFL. You're telling me that these guys are now all of a sudden smart enough to pull off something like this, that they can get 18 women to have similar stories? It's ridiculous. All of these talking points are absolutely ridiculous. The other thing I want to talk about, one of the things that I keep hearing when it comes to this story and these allegations, and it's the one thing you heard about a lot. It's the one thing that was said from the very beginning. I even brought it up. But why are these all civil cases? Why didn't anybody ever go to the cops? If this is true, if he did these things, why didn't any of these women press charges? Why didn't any of these women go to the police? And those are questions that are being asked in the media and online and everywhere else. And we can ask those questions, but I think what I wanted to do was to try to educate myself and educate you guys and the people that listen to this show when it comes to that particular that question, because it is such an important thing to know. Unless you've been through it, you don't know what goes through the minds of somebody that's gone through that. So what I wanted to do, and I'm so glad that she agreed to do this, is Sybil Winters-Little from Bay Area Turning Point is joining me right now on the show. She has been with Bay, and if you don't know what Bay Area Turning Point is, you guys know we've done a lot of work with them in the last 6-7 months. They were one of the benefactors of our Streamathon. And joining me now is Sybil Winters-Little from Bay Area Turning Point. Sybil, thank you for being here. Bay Area Turning Point does a lot of good for victims of sexual and domestic violence. And I thought, what better organization to have somebody come on and answer that question and others that you guys may have or I may have in regards to this. So Sybil, thank you for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. So, by the way, operations director, you've been with Bay Area Turning Point since 1996. That is amazing. I mean, you know, a lot of times we'll say thank you for your service to a police officer. We'll thank people and the firefighters and military. But what you do for this community and the men and women and children of this community who are victims of sexual and domestic violence is, I think it's worthy of that as well. So, Sybil, thank you for your service to our community.
Thank you for being a supporter. We could not do what we do at Bay Area Turning Point without community members like you who are willing to partner with us to help us end violence in our communities. So thank you.
Absolutely. And the Deckettes are amazing. They have really stepped up as well. So I'm so proud that we all have partnered. So I wanted to have you on because I really want to specifically talk about this. I think this can be an uncomfortable conversation to have, especially for people that don't necessarily know how to ask the questions. It can come off as either toxic or ignorant or whatever. But I thought, you know what? I'm willing to ask these questions because it is a tough but necessary conversation we need to have, because I know you know what's going on with this Deshaun Watson situation. 19 allegations of, at the very least, sexual misconduct, up to allegations of sexual assault and potentially rape. And the very first question that keeps coming up, Sybil, that I wanted to get your thoughts on is, why didn't any of these women go to the police?
So that's an age-old question. Like, why doesn't she speak up? Why didn't she leave? Why doesn't she seek help? And so as long as we focus on that, then we're really not going to deal with the true issue. And so imagine being someone who is victimized and having to speak up and ask for help. Most of us ask for help from someone we know, right? Now, you've been a victim of rape, and now you have to reach out for resources like Bay Area Turning Point, which are strangers, or more importantly, to the law enforcement. And there's all kinds of things that are said in regards to working with law enforcement. And so now being a victim who's been traumatized and asking someone to help you, how degrading you can feel at that moment, how embarrassed you can feel at that moment, and how many people are going to believe you in that moment. And remember, that's trauma. And so are you truly in a place where you can seek out help? And so now add someone who's a celebrity or someone with power. Add that to the mix, and then you tell me whether or not you have the ability to speak out. And please keep in mind that sexual assault victims can be men, women, and children, right? Who already feel guilty and ashamed and all of that comes with this crime and seeking out for help. And so there are some complexities that come with that. It's not just, why don't you call the police or why don't you seek help? It is reaching out and going through a process and a system. And what happens when no one believes me? Or what happens when I watch other sexual assault victims go through this process and no one believes them? Or what happens when I do speak out, or when the person does speak out, no one's prosecuted?
Yeah, that's the thing. You said something, a couple of things there that I think really put an emphasis on this. One is, it's not always the case, but in this particular case, when you have someone with this much power and clout and money and is beloved by the community, then it becomes your word against theirs because there was only two people in that room at that time. And you may have some, I've seen, I don't know if you saw the text messages and Instagrams, but it doesn't look like it was like, hey, sorry, it got uncomfortable, which could mean anything. Right. If you think about it. But this now becomes their word against his, a popular, beloved athlete who reaches out to the community, raised by a single mom. Who's going to believe me over him? That becomes an issue. And not just for people who are victims of this kinds of allegations when somebody that's famous or rich, right?
Right. And so you have to think about, what type of power do I have to go up against someone who has money, relationships, power, control, all of those things. And so little old me, how do I go up against that? Who's going to stand with me for that? And do I want to go through the scrutiny that most of society is going to give?
And that's a big part of it. That's why in these cases we're seeing Jane Doe's, is because some of this is, even though, and I mean, I'm making an assumption here. Is it one of those things where you don't want to come forward because you're embarrassed? I mean, I know for guys, you talk to a lot of male victims of sexual assault, especially when the perpetrator was a man, it becomes a prideful thing. It becomes, oh, I'm embarrassed to say that this man did these things to me. And I think the same could be said for women as well, correct?
I agree. And also add to, well, maybe had I not been at the club at 2 a.m. leaving alone by myself, or maybe it's maybe I shouldn't have gone up to his room after the invitation, or, all those things that come with, I'm now blaming myself for why this happened. When the reality is, let's put it on the person who crossed the line. Simply said, my body, I have the right to say no at any time, and I have the right to say yes at any time. And when you decide not to listen to those words, it's called sexual assault.
Yeah, Total Dallas has sent a super chat to the show, but he said, I've always wondered, when college students approach coaches about assault, why don't the coaches seek out police or non-athletic department professionals? And again, this is all about, the question becomes, why didn't they go to the police? And you mentioned something, the other thing I wanted to talk about. You mentioned issues with going to the police. What are some of the things that sexual assault victims face just by not the scrutiny of the perpetrator or the fame or the money, or maybe it's just a family member there, everybody's like, oh, Uncle Frank would never do that. What specifically about the police makes it so difficult to go to them in some of these cases?
So as a victim, I have to prove I've been victimized. I have to prove my case, right? And so let's say there's no semen left. Let's say I don't have any bruising. Let's say I don't have any of those things. I'm the massage therapist and he gently rubbed up against me. Should I just get over it? Right? I have to prove that I was violated. And again, that's his word against her word in that case. And so going to the police, are they going to be receptive to the things that I have to say? And then will the district attorney's office decide to take the charges and stand with me in this case? Those are all risks that I'm going to, potentially this might be in the media. My name might come out in the news. My family might be impacted. Am I safe to do these things? Keep in mind that most rapes, the rapist knows their victim. So imagine being someone who's married and trying to prove that your husband or your ex-husband is the person who raped you. We have women who go through that every day.
It's terrible. And to sit there and think that, you're on the hook too. And I imagine, and I don't know, I mean, that's why I have you here, but I feel like listening to you say that, what's going through my head is I see a woman in the police station saying, well, Deshaun Watson, put his penis, he touched me with it. And you could see the mentality of some of these, just not even police officers, but just men, because as a man, I know how men think. And it's like, big deal. He touched you with his penis. It's not like he put it in you or made you do it. He brushed up against it. What's the big deal? And I think that might be, and correct me if I'm wrong, but is that part of it? Because it's like, what is a violation to you and your body and what men perceive that to be is two different. That could be a very vast difference. But at the end of the day, it's about how the victim feels, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, you do the role playing thing very well.
Thank you. What is it? what is it going to take for us as a society, or what changes can we make in the legal system? What can we do to allow victims of sexual assault to feel comfortable enough to come forward? Is there a layer we can put between them and the police? Like, what? I know there are organizations like Bay Area Turning Point that can help with that, but they have to have enough courage to go to that. How do we solve this huge issue we have in this country?
So I think you're doing one of the first things, right? Let's talk about it. Let's make the issue known. Let's tell the resources so that people know that they have an option to reach out for help. Of course, partnering with domestic violence and sexual assault agencies like Bay Area Turning Point to help walk through the process. Can you imagine being raped and then having to go and fill out the police report and be all alone and having to do that? And then, I got to go prove this case. So now I got to go see this nurse who's going to poke and prod and stick me and do all kinds of things. And imagine having to do all of that alone. I don't want to go to court for a parking ticket by myself or a speeding ticket by myself, let alone be traumatized and have to go through this walk by myself, especially if I don't know what that walk looks like. And so partnering with agencies such as ours, the other pieces are having penalties stiff enough that, the perpetrators might think twice about offending other people, right? Imposing their self on other people, taking advantage of vulnerable people. Some of that might be laws and legislation that if, I had to think twice about, going out here to commit this violent crime, I might decide if I'm going to really have some harsh penalties that come with that. But supporting the victim, believing them, friends, family members, if you're out there and you're listening and someone comes to you and say, I've been violated, support them.
Believe women.
Help them get to the resources that they need.
Yeah. I've been trying to push that on social media, on this show and everywhere else, because I don't know a lot about this topic, but I know that anybody can see that that's one of the foundations of making this right in this country. Is it starts with just belief, because if more women are believed as we go forward, more women that this occurs to, and men, like you said, and children, see that, society won't shun me, they believe me. It's easier to speak out. And that's, to me, one of those stepping stones we have to get through as a society. I wanted to educate, this is mainly guys that listen to this show. We do have female listeners, but a lot of dudes, mid 20s to mid 50s, that we don't know. We mean well. We just are uneducated and ignorant about it. And that's why we ask those questions. What do you say, or what advice do you have to victims now? Somebody that's maybe watching the show that is a deckhead, that is hiding a truth or hiding a violation that's occurred to them, that is too afraid to come out, man, woman, or otherwise. What advice can you give them that could help them take that step to raise awareness, or, to follow through on it?
Please be empowered to speak up, stand up for what you know is right. You have the right to your body. You can say yes and you can say no. And saying no means no. Having sex with another person means giving them consent. And you have a right to your body. And at any moment, you have a right to say no. Bay Area Turning Point is here. There are several other organizations that are here to assist you. We're going to walk you through the process from filling out the police report, going to the hospital for the sexual assault nurse examiner, going to court to face your perpetrator. Please know that there are people out here who are willing to support you. And just when you're ready to give up, pick up the phone and call someone for support.
So you're not fighting it alone. And that's the beautiful thing about what Bay Area Turning Point and other organizations like yours do. It's like you said, I go to court for a traffic ticket and I'm nervous to stand in front of the judge and talk about it. I couldn't imagine if it was a sexual assault case and the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, is in the room. Unbelievable. Right. And having people in your corner is amazing. And that's why I love what you guys do. This was, I think, very informative and educational. Is there anything else that I should have asked you about that I didn't, that you want to bring up and educate our listeners with?
So I would love to give our hotline number.
Please do that.
281-286-2525. Bay Area Turning Point. We're here in the Clear Lake area. We're here to support. We're here to help. And please, even if you need to just talk, or to ask questions, we're here for all of those things.
Did I get that number right on the screen? 281-286-2525 is the number.
Yes, sir.
And they can call. They don't have to give any other information. They can just talk, get an advocate, and start the process of healing with you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this, Sybil. I really appreciate your time. This was very informative, and I hope this answers some of those questions that people have about, well, why don't they go forward? Now we know.
I hope as well. And Barry, thank you again for supporting Barry Turning Point and all of its efforts. Thank you for being willing to take a risk, put your voice out there, and stand up for those who are voiceless.
Anytime.
We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Keep doing what you do, Sybil. That was Sybil Winters Little from Bay Area Turning Point. I wanted to do that. I felt like this is important. These are conversations that we have to have as a show, as a community, as a society. I feel like there aren't enough men that come forward to have these conversations and support women, believe women. I mean, I don't know. As being raised by a single mom and a sister when she was there, I got a different perspective on life. And I think that my mom, educated me on some of this stuff. And I feel like that's a big issue for us as guys. It's not that we don't care. We just don't know. We've never had to live in our life. And this sounds crazy. And I challenge any woman in the chat to say that what I'm about to say isn't true. There are women who live their entire life in fear. They are worried to go out at night. They can't go jogging. They don't want to walk out to the mailbox alone in broad daylight at night. A lot of women, the decisions, everyday decisions that they make in their life are out of fear or to protect themselves. Not every single woman, but the ratio of women that think that way. I got to have mace. I got to do this. I got to lock my door. I can't walk to my car alone. There's never a time where a guy's like, can't walk to my car alone. It is a difference in how you function in society. And it shouldn't be that way. So I think we need to have more honest and open conversations like this and educate ourselves and just be better. Last thing I'll say, believe women. We have to do that. All right. Thanks again. Bay Area Turning Point. I'm so happy we found them. Sybil Winters, Little, and Kat, and everybody over there does a fantastic job. And, I want to point something out about this conversation. And you heard her mention it before, and we talked about it a little bit, but this is not just exclusive to women and children. There are men who are sexually assaulted that have children that end up at organizations and at shelters like Bay Area Turning Point. Is the numbers skewed? Of course. But this is a societal issue, not a gender issue. And we have all got to do our part to try to figure it out. Okay. I've been wanting to do that for a while. Jen, thank you for helping make that happen. You guys, please give Jen some kudos. She was able to get Sybil and Kat and get on the same page, and she was able to make that happen and get 15 minutes of time from Sybil to be able to have that conversation, that important conversation that I wanted to have. So thank you, Jen, for making that possible. Really appreciate it. All right, back to the show, specifically the sports stuff. What did we miss? Oh, okay. So I'm not happy with the NBA. I feel like, and you guys are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. And that you're entitled to be wrong and dumb. It's okay. KD, White Magic, I'm sure, is going to have a bone to pick with me when I say this. The NBA is ruining itself. It's ruining its own product. This league is becoming way too top heavy. I don't even really care about this season anymore. Because when you've got all of these buyouts, Drummond and Aldridge and Blake Griffin and all these cats basically either going to the LA Lakers or the Brooklyn Nets, you've got Harden being traded and making that super team. What's the point? Why are we even going through the rest of this? we know that this finals is most likely LA versus Brooklyn. I mean, this is a Lakers-Nets finals. If LeBron can come back and be healthy and AD can be healthy, all, injuries aside, which is always you never know. It's always the wild card. But the fact of the matter is, these two teams have a monopoly on this sport, at least for the next year, or at least for the rest of this year. What's the point? If you've got a salary cap and then these exceptions to the salary cap to be able to finagle your way into building a roster like Brooklyn has, I don't see how they're not the clear-cut favorite to win it all. If they don't, wow. All this hype about James Harden, bye. Because then the media is literally salivating over James Harden. Oh, he's got to be the MVP, right? I mean, look what he's doing without KD and Kyrie, and he's carrying the team and this, that, and the other. He was an MVP when he was here in Houston. They just hated Houston. But now that he's in New York, it's a big deal. But he's got all this help. All these players are going to play for Brooklyn. They've literally added Blake Griffin. Aldridge, is he headed to? I saw he was either headed to Brooklyn or LA. Same thing with Drummond. He's headed to LA. It's not fun for me now. Yeah, that's the thing, Tony. It's one of the three majors and it's still a sport I like. But the outcome feels like a foregone conclusion. So the playoffs, I'm not watching the rest of this season or the playoffs like, ooh, watch out for team. Like watching the Jazz, who have the best record in the NBA, flame out in the second or third round of the playoffs is going to be, just because I hate the Jazz as a Rockets fan, that'll be great. But other than that, the Jazz have been surprisingly the best regular season team all year. That isn't going to mean shit when the playoffs roll around. I don't think anybody thinks the Jazz are winning the title this year. This is a two-horse race, clearly. Am I crazy? It says, Katie said it's been top-heavy for decades. You've had the NBA is always going to be considered somewhat top heavy, right? Like if you get a Michael Jordan, if you get a Kobe Bryant or a Shaq or a Olajuwon on your squad, you're going to be good for a really long time. There's no doubt about that. A LeBron, you're always going to be in contention. But the Warriors built their team but what I'm saying is, there's no parity in this league right now. There seemed like, especially with the Warriors not being healthy and losing some of that, there seemed like there was some parity. I don't know. I just think this is bad for the sport. I think it's bad for basketball when you've got a team like Brooklyn and a team like the Lakers and every available body that is worth a shit is going to one of these two teams. Now, I know Gordon got traded to Denver. Well, if you think that makes Denver a contender, they're nice. They ain't. Come on. I will be stunned. Health is a big factor in that. I will be absolutely flabbergasted, befuddled, whatever weird white person word you want to throw out there. That'll be me if this isn't a Lakers-Nets finals. So, just not as fun. So, yeah, there's always going to be that, KD, but they ain't winning the title when at the end of this, the unthinkable, bouncing a 2 seed in the second round or something. Okay. But let's be real, KD. If you had to pick the two teams for the finals right now, you picking anybody besides the Lakers and the Nets? No. You'd be silly if you said yes. No. No one's picking the Mavs and the Raptors to make the finals. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. What is, hold on. Let's go to ESPN. I want to look at something what I think is a pretty decent, surface level telltale sign of a squad. When you look at teams and their plus minus, and I don't know what they are, so I'm going to be interested to see what this says. Plus minus is a really good indicator of what a team really is about. The Mavs are a plus 0.8. The Raptors are a minus 0.1. The Nets are a plus 4.2. The Bucks are a plus 6.7. The Sixers are a plus 5.3. Jazz are a plus 8.8. Suns a plus 6.4. Clippers a plus 6.3. And the Lakers a plus 4.7. Oh, okay. Yeah. Bet. I thought you were talking title. I was like, what? When you look at these teams that are plus 4 or better, plus 4.5 or better, when you consider the injuries with the Lakers and everything else, I mean, they should be higher, but I don't think that anybody is worried about the Lakers being a 4 seed at this point and not making it to the finals. I mean, if you wanted to tell me the Bucks have a fighting chance or the Jazz, maybe the Clippers, although playoff Paul, I think we've seen that movie. The Suns are the anomaly. The Suns sitting up there at second in the West, 3 back at a plus 6.4, better than everybody not named the Jazz or Bucks in the NBA. And then y'all wanted to tell me add Chris Paul not making him the MVP. Come on, fam. Y'all better see what these Suns are doing. I don't know. I just watching all these names go to the Nets and the Lakers has really bothered me this weekend. It's becoming unwatchable. And not because the games aren't exciting. It's because we know what's going to happen. It was kind of like, look, and I look, Lakers Celtics back in the day, right? Yeah. Lakers Celtics in the 80s, Bulls in the 90s, Lakers in the 2000s, Heat and Warriors. Sure. And in some of those cases, but I also don't feel like that you saw the kind of star power getting bought out and then going to those teams. You didn't see it very often. Now, any washed up, mid-level exception, veterans minimum, veteran player that has some skill left in him is going to go join one of these ring chasing teams. Just becomes, what's the point? If most of these teams are just going to be, secondary thoughts in our head, cool. I'll still watch, but it's watering down and ruining it for some folks. I mean, just one man's opinion, but I had that observation this weekend when I saw Drummond headed to LA and Aldridge headed to Brooklyn. I was like, well, Rich getting richer, that's for sure. Barkley and Pippen did ring chase on the rocks. Yeah. True. All right. There was okay. We're going to save this Joe Rogan story for tomorrow. We need to give that some room to breathe. But I wanted to talk about this. How am I going to do this and not hurt some feelings here? Is bald sexy? Is that sexy to you guys? Ladies, just the ladies and maybe some of the dudes, I guess. Is that sexy? Is this a handsome man? Of all the bald men in the world, ladies, is this the sexiest dude in the world that is bald? And by the way, he's not completely bald. He's George Jefferson bald. He's not Mr. Clean bald. But you are looking at the world's sexiest bald man. He said, I plead the fifth of Jack. You are looking at the world's sexiest bald man. It's Prince William. This is, let's see. It says that cosmetic surgery specialist Longevita added another title to the future king of England. The term sexy was used 17.6 million times in search results for the 38-year-old royal, according to a report from The Sun. Mike Tyson, Jason Statham, Pitbull, and Michael Jordan followed the prince to round out the top 5. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Vin Diesel, John Travolta, Floyd Mayweather, Bruce Willis, and Vladimir Putin were mentioned in the study as well. Stanley Tucci was missing from the list, apparently. I look. Katie said this list has to be fixed. Look. I'm not bald. I mean, I have my hair cut short on purpose. I would, if I had my choice to be bald, I'd be bald. But if you want to sit here and try to tell me that this man is the absolute sexiest bald man in the world, I mean, I feel like we could name so many others. Let's Google it. Sexiest bald man in the world. Because I don't think this is going to be, I mean, I know what the study says and I know what the Googles say. Let's see what list we get. Oh, it's all this Prince William story. So what about Bruce Willis? What about Vin? I mean, like, to me, I would say like The Rock and Jason Statham. Yeah, Tay Diggs. There's another good one. What's that dude? What's that pretty dude from SWAT? Isn't he bald? Nora loves that dude. What's that pretty dude's name? Shamar Moore. Isn't he bald? Come on, fam. Look, hold on. Let me go to Shamar Moore. Let me get a picture of Shamar Moore. You're going to tell me. You're going to sit here. Hold on, fam. Now, look, this ain't me saying, what? Splackavelli? Oh, no. I don't even know what that means. What the hell does Splackavelli mean? All right. Let's compare this raggedy ass Prince William dude to Shamar Moore. What the hell? Where'd the picture go? God bless everything. Holy, what is happening right now? I'll put it in the show folder. All right. Here we go. Where is he? Sexy bald. Who are you taking here? You taking this guy? What the fuck? What just happened? Or this guy? Huh? Do you like it better here? Or do you like it better here? Here? Or here? Come on, man. That's not even close. Y'all out here Googling sexy bald dudes. What? Come on, fam. You can even, Bruce Willis is another one. Bruce Willis. The Rock. Grace Jones. All right, maybe that was a little far. I don't know. Apparently, the word sexy is mentioned more with this guy than with this guy. What? Who is Kendrick Sampson? Now I got to Google Kendrick Sampson because Cece said Kendrick Sampson. Who is that? He's not bald. Oh, well, I guess he's bald here. I don't even know who this dude is. Is he related to Ralph? This is who CC. D-Mod said, I'll take Grace Jones. Anytime I hear the name Grace Jones now, all I can think of is Willie D's bald head hose. Here's who CC's talking about. Okay. I mean, that's better than this dude. Come on, who you picking? That ain't even close. Not even close. Also, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it 100. Chat. Bald white dudes don't look as good as bald black dudes. Yeah, sorry. These are the hard-hitting facts that you come to Barry on Deck for. Bald white guys not as attractive as bald black guys. I don't know what it is. I don't know why that is. Does that mean all bald white guys are not attractive? Nope, that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying usually. I don't know if it's the skin tone but bald black dudes tend to look better than bald white dudes. I mean, you know, don't shoot the messenger, right? I don't know. Tyrese is 5. Oh, he's 5'4". Oh, wow. So is Tyrese? Oh, I see what's happening here. Hispanic guys with nice haircuts greater than everyone else. What is this? Oh my God. Okay. One other thing for the nerds in the room. I'm actually kind of excited about this. Not going to lie. This kind of got me a little excited because now that I've seen The Mandalorian, I kind of want to see what's going to happen with this Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to this. Disney is rolling out if you're a Star Wars dork, oh man, this is your time to shine for sure. You are about to be loving life because not just another year or another season of The Mandalorian, and this staff, or not this staff, this cast is really good. It's going to be a really good series, just based on who they got. But listen to this. I was reading the article from Bro Bible that talked about all the series that Disney is working on. So it says, not only, this is a quote from Bro Bible, not only did Disney reveal the series cast, but they also confirmed that filming will begin in April, and the series will be on track for release in early 2022. It also says that there's going to be a rematch of Darth Vader and whatever. That's not what I wanted to read. Obi-Wan. Oh, here it is. Obi-Wan Kenobi is just one of many Star Wars projects currently in the works. The Bad Batch and the Book of Boba Fett will premiere on Disney Plus, while season 3 of The Mandalorian and Andor are scheduled to drop next year. There's also Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, Lando, The Acolyte, and Vision WS in the works for Disney. In addition to Rogue Squadron in 2023, that's a film that's going to come out. So if you are a Star Wars dork, oh my, like me, I love I'm not like, I don't know it like you guys know. You guys, y'all are like, put it this way. I thought it was Obi-Wan Kenobi, like O-N-E. I mean, I love Star Wars. Saw the first one when it came out as a kid. I had the bed sheets and the action figures, and I've watched every one and love it all, yada, yada, yada. But you guys learn, what's your Star Wars name? I don't know. And yeah, I used to call it a lightsaber. So this is what we know. I love Star Wars. But I called him Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and until I was about 16, they all fought with lightsabers. What do you want? But I am excited about this. I am excited about this. God, that made me so mad when y'all mocked me for saying Boba Fett. Ugh, wish you guys had to go through this shit too. I am excited about this Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now I'm saying it like he's Hispanic. Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's like Obi-Wan Kenobi. There's Obi-Wan Kenobi. I was looking at the cast. Hold on. One of these names stuck out to me. So, Kumail Nanjiani, he's a comic. He's a comedic actor, so I'm guessing he's going to be the Spider-Man, the Flash, the funny relief for this, I guess. I don't know. By the way, shout out O'Shea Jackson Jr. That's Ice Cube's kid. He's also in it. P. Joe said, wait, so it's not a lightsaber? Yeah, no. Surprise. It's not a lightsaber. It's a lightsaber. Thanks, House. Thanks so much for keeping me on track. Yeah, that's also, Robin Williams did serious stuff too. That's beside the point. He's still a comedian. Now, I have a theory, and I think it's better than my NBA theory. But I think this is Disney trying to compete with Marvel, or trying to recreate the hype around what we see with the Marvel Universe, DC. I mean, we've had Star Wars movies, but now they're really like, oh, so you can do series and movie, and we can make this a whole thing. All these backstories, like we never got backstories of one person, right? You never got a whole series dedicated to the backstory of, I know that, but what I'm saying is that they're capitalizing on what they've done with Marvel. And now they're like, well, let's open up the Star Wars universe and do everybody's backstory and start making these series and movies and all these, these forks in the road. Cause it used to be, all right, it was based around the central theme of Star Wars. There was the prequels, there was the Clone Wars, there was all this, but it was like this almost felt linear, if that makes sense. The stories almost, you got the movies, they could jump back in time, they would jump forward, even though the old shit was the new shit and the new shit is the old shit. It had a very linear feel to it. Whereas with Marvel and the Marvel universe, yeah, you've got the arc of Marvel, but you got all these backstories. I mean, WandaVision, what? It's just this fork off of the Marvel universe that now we get little bits and pieces and they can make a lot of money on it. And I think they're like, well, we could do that with Star Wars. We could do that with this franchise. So let's do it again. So they're like, let's start doing backstories. Mandalorian, Obi-Wan, Solo. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see, can they be as good at it with this as they have been with Marvel? I'll tell you that much. Because they've been very successful with Marvel, so why not do it again? Why not repeat it? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. That is the show for the day. I am going to get more than 4 hours of sleep tonight. This is stupid. Look, here's Rambo. Look, we've already been through this, nerds. I'm not going through this again. If you're a Kaz, you can skip it. Just like if you're Kaz, you can skip the Mandalorian. Oh. Now see, I've never read a Star Wars movie. No clue. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for being here, buddy. Thank you all for being here. Very much appreciate it. Thank you to my guest, Sybil Winters Little from Bay Area Turning Point as well. Very educational. A very necessary conversation that we needed to have today. A little more serious than normal today. We'll have some fun tomorrow. I've got another serious topic, though. Joe Rogan has upset Fallon Fox, and if you don't know what that is, do some homework and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Plus, we'll have some fun. Hey, do me a favor. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done that either. And then do me 3 more favors. Be safe. kind. And most importantly, love each other. I will see y'all tomorrow. Go get some sleep, fellas. Daddy's making a YouTube video!